Here we go. We're live.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, we're live.
No, I don't know what I was expecting so much more.
Like a fanfare and like that.
Yeah, like some guy at the side's going 5, 4, and then hand gesturing the 3, 2, 1 rolling.
Can I do my intro now, please?
I don't know. Oh, we asked Alexa. She has no theme music for you.
Well, I just sure.
Okay.
Hi, boys and girls. It's Bambi here from Bambi Airsoft and Team Spot, and I am joined today with my brother from my mother, I guess.
The same, yeah.
Yeah. War Chimps Friendly Fire. And welcome to the second episode of the 6mm Show. I am your host, obviously, Bambi from Bambi Airsoft and Team Spartan. And we went to a, to say the least, a bit of an interesting site today. But if you want to briefly give a lowdown of how long you've been playing and what it is you've been doing with regards to Airsoft, that would be, that'd be good.
I can do that. So obviously, I presume you said when you started, when you did the first episode.
Yeah.
So same amount of time. 2 years has it been? 2 years?
Yeah, it's been about 2 years.
Yeah. Possibly a bit longer.
Yeah.
So about 2 years, started up with this Reprobate and a few others. Kicked it off, hung out, started on a budget, didn't go, all guns blazing, cash in, high spec, high adrenaline, low budget guy, low budget fun for me. That's pretty much how it works. And I've moved down to the south, which means I'm rarely airsofting up north in the northwest. Try to as often as I can. Was briefly a member of Spartan for reasons we won't go into. I'm
Yes.
no longer in Team Spartan. I'm now with War Chimps, the magnificent War Chimps, and they have embraced me with open arms, and it's been alright so far. I've not really played with the team per se, but I've done quite a bit with them, and it's good. It gives me something to rep, and obviously meeting Airsoft Anonymous yesterday.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, the War Chimp name carried there, and they were very, very welcoming. So
yeah, it was actually quite fun. We had a little go at their TM Delta Gen 2 build, I think is the best way to describe it. 26.7 rounds per second on full auto. Bit of a beast of a weapon, if we're going to be honest. I think it's very unique. There's not going to be many riffs that are going to be similar to that. And
my concern is that might not be enough.
You don't think it's fast enough?
I mean, if you can squeeze maybe 3 or 5 more seconds, I think you'd be on to a winner.
Right. So
it's not
go
quite a straight line of absolute evil.
You want to go to 330 rounds per second.
Definitely.
Well, he did say he was going to build one that was faster.
Wow. Watch that space, I guess.
Yeah, watch that space. All right. We played at Srikeforce CQB today in Swindon.
We did.
It's a CQB site down south. What's the best way you could describe the layout? Warehouse, plyboard, curtains, tight corners, tight nooks and crannies, few kill houses, lots of cover. About 2 football fields.
Yeah, they're about standard killing floor, maybe almost an acre of space.
Yeah, fairly well put together. A really nice layout. Plenty of cover, loads of little angles, loads of...
The topography of the site and the layout of the floor was really good. Cannot fault them there.
Yeah, but I think it's safe to say we had a bit of a mixed bag of experiences.
Yeah.
Me in the morning and you in the afternoon session.
That's it.
We had our fair share of mishaps and triumphs. All in all, I think it's safe to say, I think I made this point to you in the car on the way back, a site is only as good as its last game. And as that was our first game there, it didn't give us a decent impression, I don't think.
No, there were a lot of things wrong with, I don't really want to say the site, but I think with how we received the site is probably the more diplomatic way of saying it. A lot of things that the rationale alone confused. I think the first instance was you with your breacher shotgun.
Yeah, this is right. Okay, both sides chrono. That's fine. They have their own funky little ways of doing it. Some of them have under the 350 FPS and have a bit of a tolerance. You were two over the sight limit of 340, but they still let you play.
Yeah. I was putting out about 342,
and I was chronoing my kit using their mags and their BBs. I went to chrono my TM breacher gas powered green gas. The only modification on it is a M4 adapter, so I put my M4 mags in. And he just flatly refused. He went, "Is that TM?" And I went, "Yeah." And he went, "No, mate, that won't fit in here." Now, considering the fact that there was a guy where there was 3 HPA breaches and a KSG HPA running around that day, all TM. I gotta admit that was a little bit annoying. He wouldn't even let me chrono it to make sure. He just flatly refused. So, not that it would have made much of a difference. I don't think on the site on the day, which we'll get into a little bit sooner. You, like I said, you were over the site tolerance of 340, but they still let you play.
Yeah.
And another instance was the 3 or 4 people using GoPros, but he told me I was told I wasn't allowed to record without asking permission, even though there was still 3 or 4 people there doing it, and I don't know why. It just seemed like
you were singled out.
I was singled
as
out.
the one who wanted to film children.
Freaking no.
And I don't know. Maybe it was just a look you gave him when you approached him with your camera and a little red light flashing. Were you spending time with the children?
No.
If I review your footage, is it mostly you looking at kids?
No.
Okay.
No.
Then
We'll avoid that conversation.
Then I think you were probably okay. But I guess he just needed to make an example of someone, maybe.
Yeah.
Although what example he was trying to make, what rationale behind the motives, I still can't figure out.
Well, it's weird because I showed you the site from another Instagram that someone plays there quite a bit, and he records there all the time. So it was a little bit strange. So we had other things to do with the marshals. Was I think the briefing was a bit weird. It was really quick.
Yeah, the briefing was quick. I like a quick briefing. I don't want to be told how to be safe in a million different ways. And I hate it when people interrupt briefings because they want to be funny or throw in their 2 cents. So that was good. What I, for one, didn't like is the preliminary bollocking for no reason that we all seem to get. And it's kind of like, hey, we're paying customers. We're mostly adults. And those of us that aren't over the age of 18... carrying ourselves with a certain amount of maturity anyway to play this sort of game, one would hope.
Yes.
Obviously, videos on YouTube might contradict everything I'm saying. But give us the benefit of the doubt before we start getting the preliminary bollocking or the prelimabol.
That's a good, interesting one. I might use that.
And so that was a bit strange. But I understand sometimes you need to say these things to make sure people play properly. But one of the rules that interested me was the fact that there will be no complaining of non-hit takers or cheaters, because the rationale behind that was because there are no non-hit takers, there are no cheaters. Yet there seems to be a fair number of people with the golden Kevlar and the reinforced blue armbands that can deflect BBs, meteors, bullets, and surface-to-air missiles. Apparently,
I mean, to put it this way, we played at some very close CQB sites that have a very interesting vibe, to the point where I think if you've ever played in the Northwest and you played at a site called SWAT Kiln, you probably know what I mean by is that it was very SWAT Kiln-esque.
Yeah.
People just blatting away on semi-auto. You could literally just walk and you could probably get hit by a BB.
Which is fine.
Which is
call
fine.
it.
Yeah, but I don't think I've been that hit, if you know what I mean, much hit, and that feeling much pain getting hit in a very, very long time. I mean, you see your arms there, my arms are
it gets worse the more clothing I take off. And that's not because of the body beneath, it's just because I'm like I'm a giraffe underneath freaking dot to dot.
Yeah. So when you've had when you're in a firm believer that you don't need to put 17 rounds into someone and you a double tap will do, like at level 2, it just went a little. It just felt like the overkill was a bit much. Everyone was doing it. I mean, there were times when I just felt the first BB and I couldn't even react before 6 more hit me. But it's the nature of the game. But there are ways around it, and like tap tap pause as level 2. But yeah, so there was a few non-hit takers. It was pretty blatant. A few more flaunting of the other rules set for pair game as well, which we won't going back, possibly not going all the way back to spawn. There was a game where it was a pushback game, so instead of going to spawn, you went 15 paces back and carried on. We're under the firm belief, and I think we've got examples of it. I'll have to check the footage of people on the other team not doing that. Friendly Fire here saw 1 or 2 examples of that.
Most correct, and I'd like to highlight an example. A gentleman, tactical BAD, sort of standard night MTP attire, made a habit of throwing the odd grenade. The amusing thing is these grenades didn't work. Got in a huff and checked. At that point, I proceeded to shoot him. Tap, tap, pause. Yep, there he is. Okay, I've hit him. His friend came around the corner and presumably thought the coast was clear. Hit him as well. This guy picked up his grenade.
This guy
was flabbergasted as to why it didn't work. Walked back around the partition and then threw his grenade again. I was like, that's not 15 paces.
No.
I don't care how quick you move. You don't disappear behind the curtain and then throw a grenade back.
Yeah.
So I'm presuming the Golden Kevlar was like working overtime then.
Yeah.
It was like you may as well walk around with the Superman.
Kind of felt like he had quad damage as well.
Yeah. He was annoyed because his grenades weren't working when they actually went off to get people behind hardcover, which was the general.
Yes, I had a few tasty grenades
anyway.
So that pretty much sums up the morning session. I was annoyed as hell regarding the non-hit taking, to the point where I had someone coming towards me and I basically said, "Come on, mate, you're taking the proverbial," and then the game ended, which was surprising. Then the first session in the afternoon, we had the pointless game.
Not worth playing.
Basically, I'm calling it the straightening game, but it probably wasn't because they've done it. It sounds like they've done it a few times. They took aside 6 players and then asked for 4 further volunteers, wasn't it?
No, it was 4 players taken aside. I don't know if they volunteered initially or they were specifically chosen.
Yeah.
And then anybody else who wants to volunteer, you can do, and then another 3 or 4 people threw their hands to the ring.
You have to imagine this. There's a upstairs office in this warehouse with a stairwell going up to it.
Yeah, sort of overlooking let's say, work area, like a foreman would.
Yeah. And it was full auto, infinite live, spam the crap out of each other, use grenades anyway. We'll come to the grenade rules in a minute as well, because they were weird. Than what not weird, but what we weren't used to. Grenades, all sorts, full auto. The guys inside the office had unlimited lives, and the marshal in there just said, "You're alive again," and it just kept going for about 15 minutes, and it was absolutely freaking crazy. I've never seen anything like it, and hopefully I got it all on footage.
But I make out this point again because I said this a few times on the drive back. The marshal took that game, took those individuals, and pretty much enabled them to play how they were playing the entire morning. As in, you'll get hit, but don't count it because you're basically invincible. Yeah. The game ends when we run out of time, or you lot have decided you've had enough and you sit down.
I think they went for the full time, didn't they?
They did, yeah, because it was a case of running out of ammo. I stipulate, this is basically the Airsoft version of noughts and crosses.
Yeah.
If you're both trying to play to win, then neither party can win, so the only winning move is to not play.
Yeah, which is what you did, but I decided to do. But I decided to carry on playing, and I only got hit a couple of times. I got a massive whelp on my head. This isn't us whinging because we got hit.
No,
it isn't. It's trying to explain the mentality of the site. Would that be the right word?
I don't know what you're doing. I'm just moaning because I got hit. No, yeah, it's the thing is, indoor CQB, where it's all exclusively indoor, it doesn't matter how well it's set up, how good the site is, how fairly balanced it is in terms of one team to another. It really does depend on how it's run by the staff, and of course, benefit of the doubt is given quite a lot, at least at first. But I think throughout the day, good housekeeping is essential. You should monitor what people are doing, and you shouldn't have to say, oh, by the way, integrity matters, because anyone who plays it knows it's about integrity. It's an honor-based game that if you get hit, you take your hit, walk to respawn, and in such a small space, you're playing again within a minute if you stroll.
Yeah.
And it didn't really sort of peel out that way.
No.
Maybe a 100-meter walk at most.
Yeah.
Seemed to be a bit too far for some people.
I mean, there were times where I think where Friendly Fire just said that housekeeping is essential. I mean, the irony is you got hit by a grenade which landed behind you. You had tunnel vision, you didn't see it, and the marshal told you.
Yeah.
That same marshal was standing next to the blue team by that curtain area we were talking about on the way back. And they were all getting peppered, but he didn't say a word to them. So it's very, very strange. Now, we either had a bad batch of players, but that doesn't account for the marshalling.
Or a bad batch of marshals.
Or a bad batch of marshals.
Accounts absolutely for the players.
Yeah, it certainly does. And I think when the first thing someone you're playing Airsoft with sees a bunch of guys turn up and go, oh no, they're here, doesn't really bode well for the day.
Yeah.
Now, that's our experience at the site.
Your experience may differ.
Yes, your experience may differ, but it's only as good as your last game. I'm at the advantage that I'm not living down here, so it's not something I'll be playing all the time. But you're really disappointed with it.
The South seems to have a sparsity of CQB sites. That being the second one I've managed to find that I've really bothered to look for. The main one that I've gone to, South Coast CQB, it's indoor mix, takes place on old army barracks. It's still actually used not only by the guys who run Airsoft there, it's used by local armed policing. They do training there. I think infantry might do training there. I'm even led to believe SF do form of training there using simunition, because you more or less find empty casings as you walk around, because it's difficult to brass up at the end of a range day. And however that works, that's pretty good. It's got its regulars, of course, and if the regulars are going to spend, £600+ on something, on a piece of kit, they kind of believe that they have the right to get all the kills, which I get that, but you need to sort of use it in the way that gets you those kills. But again, that's monitors, because they have housekeeping. If somebody starts to play up or play in a dishonest way, or numerous people do, they'll nip that in the bud straight away, because you're allowed to go to a marshal and say, hey, I think this person might be doing this. I've seen it a few times. This is what this person looks like, this is what they're wearing, and it's something distinctive that obviously you've got to point out. You can't say it's the person with the full face mask.
So, on that note, it would be a site I'd go back to if we had a larger group of people, which we should have had this weekend.
Yeah.
But we're not going to mention names.
Rest in peace, the Eat crew.
It seems like they're not in the chat at the moment. They're still sorting themselves out. Well, for you, it's probably one less site you won't be going.
Yeah. I don't really go to me. I mean, you play a lot more than I do, than I can find time for. But I won't be making any special trips to go there. I mean, it's an hour and a half journey for me. If it was 30 minutes, I could possibly consider giving it another chance and seeing what a different night is. But there were just far too many inconsistencies. I like my safety briefs, black and white highlighted, my rules, black and white highlighted, know what I'm allowed to do, what I'm not allowed to do. That way, when I start doing stuff that is somewhere in between, somebody says, oi, you can't do that.
It's like how many times did the marshal say stop firing in the briefing area?
Yeah.
And people kept doing it.
Yeah, but how many times did the marshal say to those people?
Well,
I told you
individually,
once.
yeah,
No,
exactly.
he didn't.
Exactly,
He just
yeah.
made one or two announcements, and then didn't actually
Follow up with anything.
Right.
Yeah. So it was the marshals basically had an administrative role.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the crazy things for me when it comes to something I've never experienced before. Not the crazy ass game, the full auto and CQB. All that was mad. Grenades, and not P grenades or Mark Fives. We're talking reusables. They literally allowed you to launch them, even the impacts, for a lot further than most sites do. I mean, most CQB sites allow
Posting,
or 6 foot underarm or round the corner or something like that. These guys would let you take an impact grenade and launch it more down the anywhere really.
For the benefit of the podcast, when he says launch, he doesn't mean throw it overhand.
No.
So it hits someone in the head.
Yeah.
He means underarm bowling as far as needs be.
Yeah, but even someone threw a time grenade during that crazy ass mission, full auto one. Someone threw it back out the window. Didn't look, didn't post it, just threw it back out, and it hit someone on the freaking head. It just came out.
Seems fair to me.
It's a very mixed bag, crazy site.
I must admit, I quite like that, because to me it seems a bit like you're going to play Airsoft. If you play Airsoft, you know you're going to get hit. It does sting a bit. Sometimes it even leaves marks. It's the nature of what we do. So, not up or shut up.
Yeah.
Which is quite nice.
Yeah.
But if you're going to get hit, take the hit.
Yeah.
And for me, the pinnacle point that I thought, you know what, if I stay and continue playing, I'm going to get really annoyed, was when I turned the corner and no more than a meter away from this chap, we both pulled the trigger, both hit each other. I put my hands up and he began to walk forward past me, at which point I said, what, really? No? And then he asked me, oh, you hit me? I was like, well, of course I did. He apologised and took the hit, but from a meter away. If he doesn't realise that I'm hitting him from a meter away, and I wasn't, just blank firing, BBs were coming out. Every time, I always check, I was firing BBs. And if you have to ask that question when somebody's close enough to see the whites of your eyes, I think maybe you need to check your kit.
Yeah.
And it's not as if he was wearing anything thick. He has a plate carrier on, which means he's done this at least once, because usually most people use rentals the first time, and then buy some kits.
Yeah, so if we're going to give it a rating out of 10, what would it be? We'll do it in stages. The site itself, out of 10. So the layout and everything.
Layout, really good, It's got a decent killing floor sort of setup. It's got potential with the curtains acting as partitions to open and close and change the layouts in general, which wasn't actually utilised, so some people took advantage of that when it was specific to the one area. I'm going to give that maybe 10 being the best site in the world I could possibly imagine. Yeah. 1 being
SWAT kill.
Yeah, our first experience. I'm going to have to give it 4.5, maybe a 5.
4.5, maybe a 5 for the site itself.
Yeah.
Games we played. Take out the crazy game. There was team deathmatch, domination, pushback, and the Alamo.
Never played a pushback game before.
Yeah.
Had it have worked, would have been really good. 15 paces can be very subjective though.
Yeah.
Because if you're 3'5".
See, with me, it would have been better if the marshal stood by the furthest player forward, 15 paces back, and then once that player was hit, moved another 15 paces back. That might have been. The marshal was the respawn line.
Yeah, if the marshal was wearing a distinctive high vis, not just your standard yellow, was basically after the tail end Charlie. If you get hit, come back to me.
Yeah,
That would have worked.
that probably would have worked. But
But
then,
it was a decent game mode. I've never not seen that one before, and I quite liked it. Had it have worked, had people have actually played to the rules, it would have been good.
yeah,
I don't know, it was a standard King of the Hill kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Done that time and time again.
TVM's TVM.
Yeah.
No one issue with the flags was alright.
The flags-
It's a nice little touch.
Flags were really good. There were also light switches. Did you get onto those?
Yeah, I saw them, but they were obviously.
No, some of them were working.
Really?
Yeah, I was walking around switching them on and off. So it was probably I was half expecting somebody to say, "Who is on red? Let's keep switching the lights on." Stop it.
Alright, but no one said that.
Nobody said it. I think
Right.
they just switched them off.
So
I also did some blues to try and land them in it as well, but nothing came of it.
So you'd say what for game modes?
Game modes, I'm just going to go standards, middle of the line, 5.
5. Okay. So we got a 4.5 and a 5.
Let me just say that 5 isn't a bad score.
No,
Five is average.
Average. So 4.5 and a 5. I think we can safe to say Marshall's probably a 1 or a 2.
Well, as you said, those guys were doing it in terms of an administrative role. They were there because legally they needed people who were health and safety trained. They needed someone who had first aid.
Yeah.
They needed those people there to foresee the game. I think anything more than that, and they weren't either interested or they'd cracked it.
All right, Stitch, how's it going, dude?
Can we hear him? Is he going?
No, he's on text.
Oh,
I'm reading the text.
hi Stitch. Tell us what I thought though.
Something about administrative role.
Yeah. I see. I don't want to make it sound like I'm bagging on the Marshals.
Yeah.
Because they've been doing it for a while. The site's been going for a while, I presume, and it gets people back. But when your options are very limited,
Yeah.
that could be a reason people keep going back there.
Yeah. You've got a fair point.
You rock up into the northwest, you've got within
An hour,
50, 60 miles an hour, you've got multiple sites.
6 sites maybe.
Yeah. And they're all vastly different. A few of them are indoor CQB, a few of them are outdoor, some of them are mixed, and you've really got your choice there.
Yeah.
And new ones are opening and closing all the time.
Yeah, we're not doing too bad, Stitch. We're a little bit battered and bruised. I think to sum up, average score from Rick on the site is probably about a 4.
No, I'd say 5.
Yeah,
5, maybe 5.5, because I don't want to seem like a total dick.
You do. I don't think you ever played at SWAT Kiln, but it reminds us a lot of how SWAT played, which again was a very mixed bag site.
Yeah.
Layout, yeah, I can probably say 5 or 6. I mean, there's other sites that do a bit more imaginative, level 2, for example. So I'd say a 5 for layout. Game modes, standard. Nice few little touches with the flags and the light switches. So yeah, 4 again. Marshalling, administrative role, like you already pointed out, it was probably a very limited option for
It was
people.
an inconsistent administrative role as
Yeah.
well. That was the thing.
Yeah, so again, maybe a solid 5, but won't be going out my way to encourage anyone to come, unless we all come again, like we should have done this weekend. No names named Mr. Stitch. But the weekend in general has been good. We got absolutely blotted on Friday night.
Oh, hell yeah. Managed to sober up just in time to head down to Airsoft Anonymous.
Yeah, and we headed off to
Addiction.
Yeah.
To meet some of my guys, War Chimps. They've been in cahoots for a while. Long before I came down to the south, I thought, hey, that's a thing. I need to go there. It's my nearest airsoft retailer, I think, at this present moment. And of course, the new Tectonic Quakes.
Oh yeah,
They're replacing the TRMRs.
Tremors.
Yeah, so they're replacing those.
We got it. We dropped 270 quid, 135 quid each on a.
You're welcome, by the way.
Oh, I gave you the money.
Yeah, I know, but you didn't have to say that to the thing.
Right. Hey, well, if you made out early on that I was filming children for kicks, I'm gonna freaking not give you the credit for buying the
that's fair. He wasn't filming children for his gratification.
Thank you. I'm glad you.
He was filming the game for his sexual pleasure. No.
No. For you, just say
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah. Just
say YouTube. Yeah. So basically we ordered the 8-way.
Yeah.
Which is 1 safe mode and 7 bangs in an adjustable base. So it's a
multi-bang.
Multi-bang. So they look pretty sweet, pretty sick. So
if you haven't seen them yet, where have you been? They're on Instagram, they're on Facebook, they've got a website, Tectonic Designs, Innovations.
They're also doing a timed one apparently as well.
Soon, yeah, because a lot of people are saying, why don't the impact grenades work on grass and soft soil? Because they don't.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's going to land right on the toggle, it needs to be an actual impact, not a soft, dainty land.
And I think I'm starting to slowly fall in love with my impact grenades after getting those 12 kills and 2 earlier today. I won't spoil it for anyone, but hopefully I got it on camera, and it's pretty good. So we spent an afternoon, an hour at AA. I had to go with the TM Delta Gen 2 speed build, 26.7 rounds second. If you want to check out my Instagram, _Bambi spelled with 4, or _friendly_fire, or just friendly fire?
No, just _friendly fire.
_friendly fire. There's a couple of videos up there of us going full auto with that, and that was sweet. So Friday, Saturday was just basic chill. Going out Friday, get a blotto.
Milling about, boosting morale for the troops.
And then obviously we had our game today, which was a mixed bag. Ran with a few guys from Red Widow Airsoft. I've been in touch with them a couple of times. I know a couple of you guys probably... Stitch, you know Red Wolf Airsoft, don't you? You hopefully know who they are. They had one of our Spartan patches. Don't know who's giving them that, but hey-ho.
Red Widow. You said wolf.
Did I? Ooh, okay, slip of the tongue. Yeah, so Stitch knows who Red Wolf is. So you ran with you there, guys.
Red Widow.
Fuck, I said it again.
Yeah, no, it's because it's obviously Red Wolf Airsoft's a massive airsoft thing.
Red Widow Airsoft. Yeah. Ran with 4 of those guys. Decent lads, decent players. Fun to be around. Got a few pictures with them at the end. Gave them some of the yeet patches as well.
Because they were there, can I just say? Stitches, because they were there.
Yeah. And
plus we've got a reasonable good authority that there's going to be some Red Widow patches coming our way.
Yeah, I was supposed to pick them up from their team leader today, but he bottled out. He was copped out last minute for being sick. So
was that what it was?
Yeah.
So his drinking night was Saturday.
Yeah, his drinking night was Saturday. Yeah. So it was good to meet those guys. I had a few chat with a few of the local room regulars. Everyone was fairly decent, fairly good people.
Well, conversationally
speaking, yeah. So battered and blottoed and bruised. I don't think I've been hit that much since playing SWAT kills, to be honest, or that consistently all over.
Yeah, it's sort of like learning the game again. It's just the tap pause rule of level 2. It's an absolute game changer. It just levels out the entire floor, making it skill based, not rate of fire based.
Yeah, it takes the riff out of it, doesn't it? To be honest, I think that's probably a good thing. Maybe could be something they could implement, but from the way they were talking,
because they don't have cheaters, and they don't have complainers,
and they play hard.
Yeah, they go hard, they come hard right in your face.
With white stuff.
You're walking along, you're just thinking, oh, I'm going to go nice and easy, nice and slow, walk up to the objective, next thing you know, someone's coming in your face. If that's how you want to do it, guys, crack on.
So, yeah, it was a mixed bag site, to be perfectly honest with you. I think it's probably a valid point for future podcasts about a good example of rate of fire over FPS, how site mentality can affect your experience is a huge one, and everything like that. So yeah, it's been a pretty decent weekend. For me, the site is probably a solid 5. One being SWAT kill, the other one being.
Is this what the podcast is? Just bagging on SWAT the entire time?
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's not having to go.
I listened to parts of the first episode. I don't recall slagging anyone else.
Well, part of the first episode was just letting everyone know, and I was playing the previous videos we had as Outpost, the TDM, and the one that you were there for when Stitch was patched into Team Spartan.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty much it. Anything else you want to add with regards to the site itself?
I think not so much regards to the site, but a general sort of observation I've made. I think everyone's ideal CQB is going to be different, and everybody's site is going to be different. And it's no easy feat to set up a site and then keep costs low. You implement things like work days, because why would you pay a professional to do it when you can get your regulars to do it and then just pay them in a hot dog and a free 2-hour game? And in order to keep costs down, props aren't always the most convincing, and there's a certain aspect of imagination. But if money was no object, I think sites would generally be, obviously they would be a lot better. But the difference is, money doesn't really need to factor into listening to feedback. So on our way out, all right lads, you off? Yeah. Did you have a good day? I wanted to say no. But you answered for me.
I should have said I was ready to go at lunchtime, to be perfectly honest with you.
And if we'd have said no, obviously we might have pissed them off. They said, okay, well what could we have done better? And
hire new marshals.
Yeah, we'd have come out with all this stuff. That would have just pissed them off. It would have meant that we'd offended them in their way, and therefore probably would be met with a certain amount of ridicule and even more singling out, I guess.
Yeah, it's
weird person-specific rules, like, oh, you can't film, there's kids about, but the other 3 people can. Oh, no, you can't use a shotgun, but these 3 people can.
Yeah, I don't know what I did to offend that marshal.
Yeah.
Well, he had a conversation with him about his daughter living up in Liverpool, but that was about it. And it was just, that was after, it's just like the first 5 minutes, he just homed in on me. Maybe because I was wearing claw gear and I didn't fit in.
If you can be receptive to feedback and adapt to site and just listen to people rather than have a build day, maybe you should have a focus group day and listen to people who have informed opinions, people who have been to a number of sites all over the country, possibly even the world. Yeah, it's a global thing, and find out what they could do to make it better. And I think sites and costs and all that stuff, that doesn't matter when you're listening to people's opinions.
Rolf Pops, we're just having a general oversight of what a site should be now. We played at Srikeforce CQB in Swindon, which is in the United Kingdom, assuming you're not from there, of course. We're just really talking about, everyone's site is going to be different, what you want from it, how you're going to set it up, what you're going to do with it, props, game modes, marshalling rules, etc., etc. Our experience today wasn't that great. It was our first time playing there. We started off the podcast. Oh, by the accents, you're local. Oh, fair enough. It was a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest. And I think he started off the stream by saying it was only as good as your last game.
Yeah.
And for me, it's not something I'm going to be rushing back to go play. And for Friendly Fire, it's one less site you'll go to regularly, maybe, unless you've got a big group of people.
But then again, you're really sort of pushing your luck. I think if it was me, you, the Red Widow guys, and some more from Yeet, Stroke Spartan, maybe even some Chimps, it could work.
Yeah.
Because even a shit day can be made better with good morale, good mates, and a good team around you.
Yeah.
Or it could still be really bad because you have the impenetrable blue armbands.
Or red armbands, depending if you're on the other team.
Impregnable?
Impregnable.
Yeah. The cold steel armband.
Yeah. I think, to be fair, you can't really judge a site by playing there once. However, we are. And we had a bad experience. I had some good moments. It was the last game of the day we played, when the crowd thinned out. I think after the morning session, things got a little bit better, but that was because the ones that were causing us issues had left.
Possibly, yeah. But you do wonder whether or not they had prearranged to leave half day, or they were fed up because their opponents weren't very good.
Yeah.
Because we weren't cheating.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Rolf Pop's first impressions do make a break site. You're absolutely right.
Can I give that a go? Because I feel like
you can give a chat.
Because on the radio they say things like, "We've got Rolf Pops here saying first impressions make or break a site." I agree with it. That's all I'm just saying.
All right, I'll take the criticism.
Could you answering them as they go along?
Yeah. Normally I've got two screens. I don't know.
I'm normally on the.
Yeah, I'm slumming it at the moment. Come on, man. I've got to use the phone.
I get it. On it.
Like a car bonnet. So yeah, I think that's all we've really got to say about the site. You're absolutely right. It is first impressions do make or break it. There are a lot more options up north, so if you do find a site you don't like...
And to be fair, on the very, very small chance anyone from Srikeforce CQB listens to this, I lament the fact that my first impression of your site was a negative one. And the reason I lament it so much is because I actually went to that site really wanting to like it.
And I've wanted to go and play there for a very, very long time, and I think for me it was exactly the same.
It could be we built our expectations up a bit too high.
Yeah.
I wanted a good indoor CQB site that I can go to when the weather's being British.
Yes, and it inevitably is British weather in the summer as well.
Yeah, we do live in a temperate climate.
We do, a very wet one at that. Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think that is us done. The next 6 Mil show will be in the end of March. I still need to think about what I'm going to be talking about, because I think it might just be me, or I might get some of the other lads to call into that.
Product testing.
Level 2 is definitely a solid option, Ruffle Pops. I guess you're a fan of that site then. You've not tried First and Only the Mill. We played there.
That's a good site.
That is a decent site. Really do like it. It's a good little... If you see some of the pictures, or they changed that up? They've done some major work at the mill.
Right, okay.
They've got platforms you can shoot down through, and bits, and you can go upstairs and everything like that. Stitch Gaming 1 says level 2 is sick. Yes, you're absolutely right, Stitch. It is sick. And they've
it's a good site.
And the Nuketown
I need to check that out.
The Nuketown they just put in there, that's really good. It does play well. I've played a few private games there over the past couple of months. So it does work really well. We need to get to a proper game day, because they've implemented a few rule changes.
Mm-hmm.
From what I can tell, which will improve. No problem, sick boy. I'm glad you enjoyed our chat, man. I'm really I'm glad you enjoyed it. Feel free to hit that follow button, because we do one a month. One of these once a month. Once we start getting subject matter together. Ruffle Pop says, I find CQB... Hey, got the follow from Ruffle Pops. Thank you very much, dude. I find CQB sites tend to fill up with Speedsoft, as I'm not a fan of that community.
The man knows.
The man knows. Yes, Dimas are to die for not. Yeah, we didn't have any of them. We had HPAs.
Yeah, there were a couple, I think, wannabes.
Wannabe Speedsoft.
If there was an equivalent rental version of Speedsofting...
Well, didn't they...
I don't mean paintball, I mean with BBs. Yeah. I feel like I could give it a go, because, again, I like having informed opinions, but I don't want to invest so much. I mean, £200 on a dye helmet, and then I don't look good in Lycra.
No, you don't look good in like it.
No, I think
No.
I'm quite. Not that that stops any of
Well,
them.
if you get the cycle like, or you got the padded
Yeah.
ass cheeks, that might help you.
Oh yeah,
Might
that's what,
help
yeah.
your ass
Because
getting shot at.
getting shot in the arse, there's some hang time with that thing.
It certainly
It
is.
really is.
Certainly is. Freaking getting shot by a breacher and a KSG at the same time is not nice either.
I don't envy you.
No. Let's see. Yeah, we didn't experience any speed wannabes, but not speeds. But the site itself, didn't they say they do some sort of competition there?
The site
Yeah, the site does.
administrators didn't, but Red Widow
Mike
Airsoft
from Red Widow
did.
did.
Yes, apparently they are known at the site to have shooting competitions
Oh.
in various other formats.
Oh,
Where they move everything out of the way or put everything in the way,
Yes.
whatever they're doing.
Whenever they that was considering the amount of barriers and stuff in them, that could be quite the operation. It really could be. All right, hold on. We've got another Ruffle Pops. I run rushing gear, so I'm a pole opposite from the community. Like to mix it up as well from sea of an M4 MTP of multi M4 platforms. Anyway, have a good night, dudes. Yeah, we run M4s.
Yeah,
Predominantly. I've recently got an AK GG AK 74, but I think it needs a bit better battery.
11.1, I think you said you got.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for coming along and giving us that follow. We appreciate it. Next one will be the end of March. Probably be talking, having a bit of a debate about rate of fire versus FPS, how that affects chronoing, because you came up with a pretty decent comment on the way back that sites should start to. Yes, we do have an Instagram. _Bambi is my personal Airsoft Instagram. We also have
You might want to say how that's spelled because there's a call sign Bambi who's called Heather.
You're
definitely not Heather.
I'm definitely not Heather. Spelt with a 4, so it's B4MBI. Then we've got ourselves a little community Instagram, Yankee_33_Tango. And if you want to follow my comrade in podcasting right now, you can follow him on _friendlyfire.
That's the one.
And do you want to do the war chimp one?
No, because you're going to put me on the spot now. Like, I'm meant to know that stuff off the top of my head.
All right, then.
I think it's just
War
chimp industries.
Yeah.
There's so many. They've got a war chimp industry. They've got a war chimp plant. They've got a war chimp. They've got...
I know. It's crazy. Thank you very much, mate. We appreciate the follow on Instagram as well. You'll see all our photographs, clips from our day. I'll be uploading a YouTube video on my personal channel, which is Bambi Airsoft, not spelt with a 4 this time, and Spartan Airsoft UK, which is my team's channel.
There's no friendly fire Airsoft.
There's no friendly fire Airsoft, I'm afraid.
I don't apologise for that.
No, I know you don't.
I can't do the quads. And if you can't do the quads on a video, are you even in Airsoft?
No, are you even doing the G, bro?
No.
That's what you want to say.
That's it.
All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. This has been the 6 Mil Show, and we will see you guys and girls, mainly guys, next time.